We are live now. So, hello everyone. I'm Shiraz. I'm the chapter leader for Null Bhopal, and today we have a monthly meetup with Rohit. He's going to present on a topic that he'll tell you about. I'll introduce what Null is and what Null does as a community, and then we'll start with the session. So, as you can see, the name is Null Open Security Community. So we are an open security community, as in anyone who is willing to learn and who is just interested in security can join the community. Okay. So who are we? We are in we are a most active community in India, and we even have chapters in other countries like Dubai and Amsterdam. We have 15 running chapters who actively present on different topics and take workshops and such. So yeah. Who can be a member of Null? So, as I said, that Null is an open security community for anyone who's willing to learn about security. But to name a few people, like a few people who this community is made for, you can be a student and join Null, and you can take advantage by learning stuff. You can be a security professional, a penetration tester, security ninja, or developer who's just curious about security, or security manager. Um, what we do, we eat, sleep, hack, and repeat. Basically, it says that we do hack a lot of stuff and we get to learn a lot of stuff. What we have in Null. So these are the four types of meetups that we have. The monthly meet is something we have every month or so, where people are talking about different topics. For example, today we have a monthly meet about career paths in India, and there are something called Hamla sessions and Bachav sessions. So Hamla sessions are more towards the offensive security part of the security, and basically these are workshops of 2 3 4 hours where we give a hands-on kind of experience to everyone who have joined the session, and these are hands-on workshop sort of sessions. The bachao session is something which is more towards the defensive side of security. We talk about blue teaming and and basically this is also hands-on, and we talk about how we can defend our infrastructure and web applications or whatever the session is about. Fulia session is a bridge between, let's say, if you're coming from developers, or if you are from infrastructure security and you want to these are also workshops about different topics that basically are to bridge gap between people who are not in security towards bringing them into security if they are interested. This is Team Null Bhopal. I'm the chapter leader. We have three more chapter leaders, Devansh, Laksha, and Devanshu. What is in here in this community for you? So you will learn a lot if you join this community and you are actively contributing and also joining these sessions. So you will learn a lot because people in Null are always presenting about something exciting and something new. Exposure to the security industry is also a given. You can probably join our Discord and you can talk to a lot of people and join chapters in your city. And if you don't have one in your city, you can probably open chapter there if there are enough people who are interested in cybersecurity. You can get a lot of exposure about your work. If you are a student and if you don't know and you are confused about stuff, you can ask questions there and basically get seen out there in the security community. And basically, mostly in India, a lot of people who are working in cybersecurity industry, they are there and they are willing to help. So that's there. You can increase your network. You can make friends who are also interested in the same things as you and network with them, and you can get your name out there. Let's say you are doing something awesome and you're making tools or something. you are also or you are just great at talking about stuff, you can put your stuff out there. You can take sessions like Rohit is taking one today, or share your tools or experience with the whole community. It gives you a platform of sorts. How to be a part of basically, you can join our Discord server. We also have a mailing list where you can join and start. If there are any emails or any meetups, you will get basically an notification that there is a meetup and you can register and join them. You can register yourself at null.co.in. Here you will get a profile of basically what all sessions you joined, and what if you gave some talks, then they will also be listed there. So this is a great place to basically show what you know and learn what you don't know. And if you're a student or someone who's just trying to find a job, because today's session is about finding a job and about career paths in India for cybersecurity, this comes in handy because it shows that how excited you are about different kind of stuff. For example, if you are really interested in defensive kind of talks, then you can join them and learn about them or present about them. You can become a volunteer and contribute to the community as well. Uh, that's all for me. Now I will give the mic over to Rohit, and he will talk about cybersecurity career paths in India, and it will be awesome. So yeah, Rohit. Now uh, we have people who are watching, and it's your time to introduce yourself.
So thank you so much, Siraz. Let me start sharing my screen and let me know once you see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, now we can
Okay.
see us.
Okay, so hey everyone. Today I want to talk about cybersecurity career paths that are there in India, and if you have passion towards security, how you can get yourself into security. So in today's presentation, hopefully, I will be covering the experiences that I had and the experiences that I got to know from colleagues or friends who are there working and in security field. So yeah, what are the path and opportunities and how you can turn your passion towards security into a well-established job, and most importantly, from students background and to moving into proper professional security role. So these are the two important things I want to cover today. And apart from this, I want to talk little bit about why cybersecurity is important as a general individual. If you're not even from security, then you should be concerned about security. Those points around that. And yes, so a word about me is like I'm a staff security engineer at Gojek right now, and Gojek has merged with Tokopedia, so I am under GoTo right now. So in this presentation, there are two topics that I want to discuss in whole, which is cybersecurity career paths in India and security is for everyone. I will talk about myself in a bit and the journey that I had also in a bit in upcoming slides. And before starting, I would like to again rephrase that I this is completely based on personal experiences and inputs from connection. So let's get started. So yeah, I'm Rohit, and I am in this security field for close to 6 years now. And I started as a developer in security team at Walmart. So this is like close to 4 years back. Then I started as a developer in Walmart under InfoSec team, and I write a lot of tools. You can see those tools in my GitHub. I experiment with a lot of new technologies. Terraform is one of those. Kubernetes is one of those. Cloud technologies are one of those. So I keep on like experimenting all those stuff because as the technology stack increases, you should keep yourself patched with the new tech stacks as well. This is what I feel. I talk at a lot of conferences, though this is my first time at Null, but I have presented in past at DEF CON groups, Grey Hat conference, RootCon, KubeCon, etc. A lot of conferences. So yeah, I'm also a cybersecurity SME at Upgrade. So they have their own professional cybersecurity training course, and I'm a subject matter expert at them at their course. So I started in as a computer science BTech engineering student from a private college. Then I moved to masters in security from IIT Kanpur, and this is the place where I got to know about security, because before than that, it's like the old theoretical curriculum I used to study. I'm from a private college, so I had no experience, like exposure to security at all, and this is close to 9 years now. So that time there was no exposure and stuff like that. So that movement from BTech to MTech helped me understanding what security is. Then I moved into infosec team at Walmart's, where I was a developer. Then I took my OSCP. The OSCP helped me to become a security engineer and junior pen tester in the same organization. Then I moved to Visa, and after Visa, right now I'm at Gojek. So if you see, this time span is close to 4 years for now, and before that I was spending 2 years of my system security experience in IITK. So yeah, this is the short overview of the journey that I had so far. I will talk about each of these components in detail in upcoming slides, because that is one of the path that I followed and is really easy to get into security through that path and understand security. So yeah, this is the journey that I followed, and yeah, and I'll explain this journey in more detail in upcoming slides. Okay, so the agenda of this presentation is how to move into security, what are the trend of like how people are becoming aware about privacy and security. And when I'm talking about people, it's like everyone in India is now getting aware of privacy. So privacy is actually a concern for everyone, and this trend is increasing. Before, if you see, this trend was very flat, and now it's exponentially increasing. So I will discuss a few word about it. Moving towards that, I would show you why there is a demand versus supply inequality in cybersecurity field. The demand is too much, the supply is too less. What are the reasons for that? How you can cope up with it, stuff like that. And then I will discuss about career options. So cybersecurity is for everyone. As in, if you are from non-developers background, if you don't know development, if you don't like development, still in security you have a lot of opportunities in place. So there is a list for it. There is a good discussion around it. And one important thing which I want to talk about, certification. So certifications really helps you to reinforce your security path, but what certificate to choose, which one to start from, how to take that trajectory onward. So in that section we will discuss about certifications and are they really important and stuff like that. Lastly, I want to keep this as an open discussion, so I'll be happily try to answer your questions if you have any questions around this topic. So yeah, so this is the agenda that we have right now. So let's start with how to get into security, the most
Um,
buzzing question today.
Rohit, sorry to cut you off, but
Mhm.
if you have any questions, just leave them in YouTube chat and I'll let Rohit know about these questions. Now you can continue.
Cool. Thanks, Viraj. So yeah, so let's get started. Before starting, I would like to again rephrase that this is with respect to India. The market and demand outside India is completely different, and the paths could be completely different. But this is with respect to India and truly based on my experiences. So yeah, there could be slight variations in the topics that we discussed today, but yeah, this is more of a practical learning that I had so far. uh, let's cut it out short. So if I cut short that out, it means that industry needs security people, but they don't need beginners, they don't need noobs, they want experienced security people. But that's where the issue comes in. Industry is not ready to train security, and yet they want experienced people inside security. So basically in India the struggle is to get into this section itself, and that struggle could be simplified by identifying a couple of ways. And that's what Sophie is asking for, that the college graduates have no experiences. And that's what I'm answering, that yes, we hacks. And let's see what are those hacks we have. And Sophie is curious to know about it. I'm hoping that you are also curious about it. Okay, so with the first hack or approach or path that I want to discuss is the one that I followed, which I showed you, that I started from BTech in computer science from a private engineering college close to my house. And that time I had no idea in any dream that I will ever come into this field completely, because in BTech or in undergraduate college, the curriculum is too uh, old fashioned, I would say, that we might not get to experience the practical opportunities. Security is one of those. Infrastructure is one of those. We are taught the basics of computer science. So in that time, I had no experience. Then I wanted to excel into something, so I stepped into masters. And definitely for masters, there are a couple of institutions. I did gate examination, and I get into masters at IITK. And when I got into IITK, I really saw security for the first time. So there were a couple of options at IITK, but I explored everything which were there, which is machine learning and stuff like that. But then security took interest. I took interest in security, and that's where I started. So I started in security for research, because in masters you have to perform research. So I was doing some research in security, and then while doing this research, I used to play CTFs. So CTFs have captured the flag, which are basically practical hacking challenges, and that was from Seesaw. So if you are like closely knitted with the security community, you would know that Seesaw is a global cybersecurity awareness week organized by Seesaw organization, and IIT Kanpur is the only institution in India that does that. So that was the time when I got to know about CTFs and research, and that they had also security curriculum that time. So Professor Sandeep Shukla was taking that curriculum of security, where he was discussing how you can exploit buffer overflows to exploitation of web applications. So those kind of stuff were there, which reinforced my passion towards security. And lastly, I got myself attracted toward bug bounties, because that time I was a student and I used to like bag some amount with the bounties, and everything putting in place, uh, giving me a holistic view that I want to take this interest or this passion towards my professional career. But the thing was, the entry for me was still unclear. So the placement session arrived at IIT, and I got placed. I got into Walmart, and but during the placement time only, during the interview time only, I requested them to give me into security. But if you remember the TLD that I just said, that industry needs security people, but they don't want to train security people. So we had a compromise there, and they put me in InfoSec pillar as a developer. So I had to start as developer only, but luckily I was in InfoSec pillar because I requested InfoSec. So I had to speak that time, and that put me in under InfoSec. But the thing was, I wanted to get into the core security, which was doing penetration testing, red teaming, blue teaming, and other stuff, which is basically hacking into applications. And that's where the OSCP certification helped me out. So I wanted to core infosec, and OSCP is for core infosec. So I took that examination, I passed that exam, and I talked to my manager that from development team I want to move into core pen testing team, and then she agreed, and I got into pen testing. So this is how I entered into pen testing, and ops was there, and development was there definitely. And I became junior pen tester or and security engineer, because I used to do operationals and development related stuff. So I was into security engineering mix development kind of role. So everything was going good. I was having great experience. I was into e-commerce, world's largest e-commerce environment, pen testing their applications and growing. But then someday I realized that this is not what I want to do. I want to get into security at a finance organization or fintech, something like that. Because for fintech or organizations which are dealing with finance, they take security at the priority. For Walmart, the security comes second, which is after business. So that's when I thought that let's move into some other perspective of security, which is fintech. And that's the time when I got into Visa payments, and I was put into SSDLC team. I'll talk about SSDLC in upcoming slides, but in short, it is secure SDLC. So I was put into secure SDLC. After spending close to a year there, I realized that with mature organizations, the security is too mature too. So everything was extremely mature. There was a scope of improvement, but the thing is, they had invested so much in security in past that the scope of improvement for a fresher was very low. So that's again made me realize that this is not what I want to do in future. And then I thought of moving to an organization where security is still growing, and I started exploring opportunities in growing organization, and one of them was Gojek. So luckily I found that opportunity in Gojek, and I moved into Gojek, which is GoTo right now. Which is GoTo, yeah. And I moved into product security completely. So product security deals about DevSecOps, automation, pen testing, cloud security, and infrastructure security. And since then, my journey is still that. Like my journey is continuing from there in security. So if you see here, the main thing that helped me moving into security was the journey of my masters. So if you are also exploring opportunities to get into security by doing masters, then there are a couple of institutions that I personally know are doing great in security and the kind of work that they are doing. So the first one is IIT Kanpur, definitely, because I am from there. It's like a nostalgic feeling to share about it. So IIT Kanpur, yes. C3I is there. C3I is cybersecurity defense center, which has been established as the in India only, and they are doing great research in industrial systems for cybersecurity at IIT Kanpur. And if you are interested in doing internships there, you can definitely check out their website. So they offer internship to how, like, for students to get into this experience. The next thing is they host CISA. CISA, as I mentioned, the Cybersecurity Awareness Week. That's a global event, and security research is one of them. And yes, they are the first organization working in government blockchain design. So yes, IIT Kanpur is definitely taking that step forward. The next institution is IIT Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur, as far as I know, is working on side channel attacks. So if I talk about side channel attacks, side channel is very basic as well as sophisticated attacking techniques. If I have to give you example of side channel attack, then let me pick one. So if you have remembered dialing phone numbers in older version of phones, let's say Nokia 1108, then you would have noticed that pressing each button would trigger a different sound. So when would trigger a different sound, two would trigger a different sound. So let's say if by some way attacker compromises the sound pattern of specific dialing of a phone number, then he can decode that phone number from that dial tone. So this is an example of side channel attack, and IIT Kharagpur is doing great work on side channel attacks and analysis and how to mitigate those things. So if you are planning to do masters in CSE around security, then yeah, IIT Kharagpur is also one of the great candidates that we have. I see Bangalore is really famous for its security research, and IIT Delhi is really famous for its industry focused security courses. So this is about the private colleges. This is about the government colleges. They are the niche colleges in India. But we have really good private college, which is Amrita College, and they have the best CTF players I have seen. So most of my colleagues from most of my known acquaintances from Amrita College are also working together, mostly in VMware like organization where ground zero work is more so basically lower level exploitation. So Amrita College is doing really great in that, and they have great CTF players. This list is quite big. I just wanted to give you an overview of, yes, we have institutions in India who are working uh, on bringing security as a curriculum in India. The next part that I want to discuss is, the first part was through masters. The next part I want to discuss was is that if you want to get into security, having a flashy bug bounty profile is really important. But what bug bounty is? So bug bounty is basically a technique of attacking organizations infrastructure, identifying bugs in that and reporting those bugs out, and in an ethical way, instead of doing some sort of malicious activity on that, doing some reporting them in an ethical way is what bug bounty is. And for bug bounties, we have various platforms which helps us like connecting. issues that we identify as a security researcher to organizations. So that the couple of platforms that we have is HackerOne, which is really famous in India, it's really popular in India, US, UK, and then we have Integrity, which is on the European side. But yes, we still find a lot of issue. We still use it as a bug bounty platform in India also, but it's mostly popular in European side. Bugcrowd and Synack. Synack follows some sort of different approach from existing platform. Is that most of the programs in Synack are private, so you have to like pass their test, which is followed by a couple of interviews to get into Synack's red team. And once you get into Synack's red team, they will offer you a couple of programs which are registered on Synack to attack them, identify issues, and bag a bounty. And once you bag a bounty, you can definitely show it off because that's what you bag a bounty for. So that will help you get some sort of fame in security community also. And also, I have seen great organizations from FANG getting the researchers who have good bug bounty profile into their core security role, and Facebook is one of those. I have two great connections working in Facebook. They had no degree experience, they had nothing, but they were able to get a professional security job by having a good bug bounty profile. So Facebook, Google, Netflix, these companies definitely takes you in if you have skills apart from degree. That is true. But again, Sophie had a question that she don't know anything about how to get started with bug bounties. So bug bounties in itself is a great discussion topic, that how to get into bug bounty. But I would like to give again a very basic understanding of how you can get into bug bounties. So to start with, read bug bounty write-ups and understand how other security researchers are able to identify some bugs inside the application. For a moment, let me not call that as a bug. I'll call it as mistake from developer. So every security issue that a researcher founds is basically a mistake some developer made. At times, while doing bug bounty or understanding the bug bounties write up, you might notice that this is very common to include such sort of authorization in this particular place. Why the developer has not taken that into consideration? Yes, that's the case because developer has to develop a lot of modules, and they might, while developing modules, they might not be able to figure out the particular solution. The mindset could be different, and which leads to having those bugs inside those applications. So while doing bug bounty, always make sure to keep common sense side. Don't ever think that this is very common, a developer would have definitely included it. This doesn't make sense. Developer usually causes leaves issues in their code. And yeah, that's the first step to start about bug bounties: reading bug bounty write-ups and understanding the bugs, understanding how bug works and stuff like that. And then doing some sort of practice, again practice and practice. So yeah, doing practice helps. There are two different form of speech that I've mentioned. One is practice with C and one is practice with H. So they both are different. So try to, when you are understanding bug bounties, practice is important. The two different variations of practice are also important. If you have no idea from where to start from, even if you try to read bug bounty write-ups, you don't understand that particular issue. Reading about the issue and then exploiting the same issue on Portsigger's Web Academy can really help you out to bring from nowhere to somewhere. And once you're comfortable, or you have passed all the labs in Portsigger Web Academy, you can try Hackney's beginner's path, and then move into Hack the Box from where Shiraz is. So he can definitely help you procure some sort of coupons for Hack the Box. And once you are done with that part, there are a lot of online resources where you can explore what are the next steps. So there are plenty of free labs out there for you to learn. So learning is not a problem, just passion is a problem. So get yourself into that passion and start your journey.
Um, so we have a couple of questions here. Um,
Hmm.
Before moving on, let's get them out of the way.
Yep.
So we have Devas who is asking, can we have a brief introduction of Rohit? I think we did that. Then there is MTech suggested for security profile. Is MTech suggested for security profiles according to you?
Okay, so as I mentioned already, it's not suggested as such, but getting into security is difficult in India, that is true. MTech can help you simplify that path. It will not open that path for you, but it can help you simplify that path. And it can offer you a structured curriculum around like how to get into security. So if you talk to any bug hunter or hacker or security engineer, they will tell you their own ways how they start learning, how they started learning. So if you go into some sort of MTech curriculum, the learning is structured. But if you talk to any hacker or security engineer, they will give you an unstructured way of going into things. So that's again an subjective question. Like it's completely depend on your will. I hope
Okay.
that answers.
Uh, yeah. And there is Utkarsh who's saying bug bounty is very frustrating. I'm trying from 2 months hunting on bug crowd, but I am not getting anything. I think
So
that's a
that
common
is
question.
true.
2 months is a short time to find any bug bounty which you just started. No,
So
it's
that
not too
is
any. Yeah, go ahead, answer it yourself.
so that is true, Utkarsh. So getting into bug bounties thing, but like it, you need a lot of patience while you find a bug because see, you are not the only one attacking the application. Let's say from like before you started attacking, there were uh, like close to 100 people who have already attacked those applications and they have identified issues and they have already reported. So if they've reported, the company would have definitely fixed. So if you find those issue also, they will be marked as dupes or fixed, something like that. So it needs patience. Bug bounty needs patience. That is true.
Yeah. One of the questions I had myself. So my question was that I also did OSCP before joining any company, just like you did. But the thing is, these days, a lot of people are talking about cyber security gatekeeping, and I think that's a real issue, I guess. um,
Mhm.
because a lot of people have OSCP, and like OSCP has become this new standard of certificate that you have to have
Yeah.
if you want to get a job. And do you think that is right, or like, you know, is it kind of feels like a gatekeeping scenario where if a person have a OSCP, he's probably going to get more. Who's he's probably getting preferred over someone who don't, even though the skills the other one have might be higher than the one that the OSCP person have. So what
That
do you
is
think?
true. That is true. Yeah, that is completely true. So in my like in my previous slide, I mentioned that industry need experienced people, right? They will not take beginners, but there need to be something which can validate your credentials, saying that yes, you know something. So certification might help in that case. This is one reason. The second reason is uh, in between your hiring manager and candidate, there is a like borderline sitting, and that borderline is called as recruiters or HRs. So recruiters and HRs, they don't understand technical terms. What they do is they get the inputs from hiring manager and they just frame those
Exactly.
inputs in terms of job description, and they
Yeah.
don't even understand what OSCP is. So they will just write OSCP in that description, and if they are using resume filter softwares, they will just add that filter here. So if your resume have OSCP tag, then it will be filtered out through HR portal and then it will be shown to HR. So that's where the issue
Yeah.
comes in, and that is a challenge in India specifically, not outside India I would say, but in India, yes.
Yeah. I think like if if you were reading recent Twitter threads, like just a few months ago, not even months ago, few days ago, even Cyber Mentor was talking about the same issue.
Yes,
And
yes,
yeah, it is kind of a real issue, right? Right?
yes,
You can
that
probably
is true.
one of the things that I think can solve this barrier of entry or so to show that you have done the work is first of all practice as you said, but practice in a place where you can show that you have practiced.
Yes,
So if we are talking about like in you just said that Portfolio's Web Security Academy is a great place to learn, and I have used it myself, and I think it's the best. free resource out there to learn about web security, and they do also give you that 100% completion or whatever percentage of completion as you do the exercises. Or Hack the Box does the same. It builds up your profile so you can show it like the how I got my job in Hack the Box was because from the last 1 year I did almost
Yeah.
130 something machines on Hack the Box. So they were like, "Yeah, you're the guy. You are
Yeah,
already
true.
doing this from a year." Like, yeah. And also another thing that I found recently like very useful for this kind of stuff is document everything that you're doing right now as a student, even though you
Hmm.
think that it is stupid, still write it down. I regret doing all those experiments and not writing them down. Now I run my blog from about a year now, and I do get recognition because of it, but I also have solid proof to show that I have done that. So that kind of demonstrates and kind of clears out that OSCP barrier of entry kind of thing. Where if someone who's technical enough, they are probably going to reach out to you because they know that
Yeah,
you have the skills. Hmm.
exactly. So, like documenting and then showing it on some sort of blog definitely helps,
Yeah.
Shiraz, as you mentioned. Because
Yeah.
it's
So,
all about visibility. You could be good, but if you don't show that to the world might not know that you are good. So basically, it's like credential proving. If I
hmm.
just coin that term out, so you have to prove your
Yeah.
credentials. That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. Go on. We
Okay.
don't. We have a question. I have solved many labs in Web Security Academy. Still, I find no bugs that are identical to the labs. So that I don't know. They are pretty realistic in Web Security Academy. What do you think about that?
Okay, so web security is like intentionally vulnerable platform, and the applications that you want to target are designed in a way that they are not attacked. So although the similar issue might exist, but it will not be straightforward as in Web Security Academy. So in Web Security Academy, you have simple application and you want to test that application across SQL injection. That's a simple way. But if I talk about an application which is secure against first order SQL injection, but there could be a possibility that in some chat box, in some location, you are storing that as it is in database, and there is some field which is getting that from database and performing an SQL read through that query itself. So this can lead to second order SQL injection. So in real world application tackling, you need to consider a lot of things, where in web security that is true, it is for training only. So the end goal for you is to think out of the box in any way possible. So yeah.
I think Web Security Academy is great for basics and how actually the vulnerability works versus how it would be implemented in a real environment. So, like it shows you how to clear out filters and how to evade those filters in web applications and pwn the application. But uh, I think if like this was my approach when I was doing that. When you are actually doing Web Security Academy, if you have enough skills, then probably develop the same application that you are trying to own right now. If you understand the vulnerability in itself completely, then you would be able to replicate it and make a short POC of that same challenge that you just did, and that gives you more clarity towards what the developer was thinking while he was making that challenge.
Yes, that really
Uh,
helps. True.
yeah. So I guess that answers your question, and we'll take more questions in after you continue with few more slides when we have few more questions.
Cool, cool, cool.
Uh,
So yeah,
okay.
uh, this is the second way. Definitely, as Shiraz mentioned, Hack the Box also offer you great platform for connecting with organization based on your Hack the Box profile. So yeah, the third one that is really popular and is there are less chances for that is like internal shift. So you are working in an organization as a developer or some other engineer, and you make an internal shift from development to security. So this is really easy, but it depends on a lot of constraints. I myself has done this, but for me all the three paths were merged into one. So I have done almost everything that I mentioned, but I know a lot of good friends of mine who are working in development or operations, and then they move from those team to security phase. Like, definitely you have to pass through interview process and stuff like that, but that is easier as compared to other options. Trust me. That is internal movement. Yeah. So internal movement is easier again, but oh, sorry for the spelling mistake. Yeah, internal movement is easier, but it depends on a lot of constraint. One constraint is the openings. Are there even openings around it, and are you willing to learn? Because you have to anyway clear the interview out to get into that, because no one will just simply take you from there. So you'll have to learn and show that you are capable of security. And the third one is true that chances are less, but it is possible. So, before moving forward, I would like to also mention that creating or joining a reputed CTF team is also a great way of showing that you are capable of cybersecurity field. That is true. Or if you cannot join, just create one. CTFs are basically open challenges. You can definitely go to CTF time and you can see what all CTFs are coming next. You can play them. You can even bag some prizes and learn from there. And if you're not able to solve a specific CTF challenge, read about their write-ups, how the person who was able to tackle that challenge was able to solve it. This will open your horizons more about security issues. So these are three major parts. There is also one more way of getting into security is like connections. Trust me that security engineers in India, specifically I will talk about with respect to Bangalore, security engineers in Bangalore, they are closely knitted community. So they mostly they know each other through by names or some sort of connections or some like friends of friends. So we have a really small security engineers community in Bangalore. So stay in good terms with those connections. And what happens is, let's say if there is anything that comes up as an opening in any organization for security, then your connections will definitely advertise it to you. And then let's say you want to get into it, they can get you in front of interview panel at least. Then your skills will definitely help you get in. But what they can do is they can put you in front of interview panels. So that is possible. They will ask you a couple of questions and you will be able to answer them. And then once you answer them, then you will get hired. So again, this is easy for level one openings, and if you're experienced, it depends. So, but yeah, connections really helps. Trust me. And there could be various other paths as well to get into security, but this is what I have experienced myself. I have got to know from connections of friends or colleagues. So these are the most popular ones, I would say, in getting into security. I hope that helped you. Now let's try to take a slight shift from the topic of getting into security to why like awareness about privacies in India is increasing. So if you know that people are getting aware around privacy, and the great example for this is WhatsApp's new privacy policy, which landed in January and which triggered alert and there were a lot of advertisement going on for Signal in contrast with WhatsApp privacy policy. And then people were really interested what this privacy policy is and how it's going to affect an individual, which has nothing to do with let's say security at all or anything. So that privacy policy triggered awareness, and this is just one instance. There are a couple of great instances about Aadhaar data breaches or the security issues in Aadhaar's Arogya Setu app. If you have followed the news in last year, there were these issues coming up, and since they were in the limelight in mainstream media, they were getting triggered in the nerves of individual, and people started to take security as a primary thing. There were recent data breaches. If you have heard of it, it's like Air India and Domino's one. The Domino's one was really funny. Attacker demanded few bitcoins. Like if I remember correctly, it was close to $10,000 Bitcoin that attacker demanded. Since Domino's did not pay it, attacker created a portal and just publicly created a search portal for anyone to see their entire Domino's transaction history, including your credit cards or stuff like that. So those kind of breaches are triggering awareness in individuals. So people are now getting really smart. They are taking security seriously. Even the old folks at my home are they are starting to consider this thing. So yeah, that's why I'm saying that cybersecurity is now moving from a few set of people to everyone, and this has created awareness in security community. Sorry, this has created awareness in organization as well, that they need to take security seriously, because if they don't take security seriously, the brand name will be affected, and once the brand name will be affected, people will lose trust. So as in the case of Air India, so when the Air India breach happened, the public credit card information was also got leaked. So these kind of alert triggers in mind of people, and they will start losing trust in that particular organization. So that's why industries have started to take security seriously. And what are they doing is they are basically investing in security by buying tools, by including development into security, and by including research. Definitely, this is apart from what we used to do in security. So this is apart from pen testing and stuff like that. So people are now, industries are now investing in security a lot. The another major reason that people are now getting to know security is blockchain. So blockchains are now getting really popular. uh, they were popular in US, but now they're getting really popular in India also, and this has triggered again one more nerve in individuals, that why we should move towards blockchain. Why is it that peer-to-peer transaction without no fee is better as compared to centralized mode of transaction? So that's why people are now getting aware about it, and this is just the beginning, I would say. This trend would exponentially, uh, will grow, will grow more. That's what I wanted to say. And what has happened due to this is that it has created a fake demand versus supply model. And why am I calling it fake? The reason is that because that's a problem from the industry side. They themselves have kept the threshold high. They are not ready to train people, and they want people. So that's what has created a fake demand versus supply inequality. And what has happened just because of that is, if you have read economics, there is a basic principle of economics says that if demand is too high as compared to supply, the prices of a commodity increases. So that's when I say prices, you should understand that the demand, to match the demand, they are ready to pay anything. So basically they want anything to get the best talent. So that's um, that's how this security industry in India is growing. And when I'm saying prices are increasing, I mean to say that a developer with same years of experience and security engineer with same year of experience, the same organization would pay more to security engineer as compared to developers. And in upcoming slides, I will also show you the distribution of people inside an organization, and why this happens will also become clear. Okay, so let's understand this demand versus supply model, and why is this happening? Because demand is high because people are taking privacy seriously. Companies are investing in security. Fintech has to follow compliances, and they need people who can audit those stuff out. And the demand for good talent is definitely there, but the good talent might not be there. So if that could be one of the reasons, that could be a couple of reasons for high demand. And why supply is low? The first answer would be the college curriculums are truly old. If you see, we are still following the same curriculum that we used to follow 10 to 15 years back timeline, and this should not happen. We should be changing our curriculums accordingly. And as I mentioned, entry for freshers is difficult, and there is no certainty or the structuredness in the path how to get into security. And since India is developing nation and we have great tech talent, no one can deny that. That is the reason that demand is more as compared to as compared to other countries. And tech in India is well respected. We all know that. And if a company can invest, the pay is definitely high, as I mentioned, higher than devs working at the same level. Or if they are not able to do that, they will have to compromise on talent. And when they compromise on talent from security perspective, then that is full of risk. And the higher executive at security level would definitely understand it. So this is how demand versus supply is unbalanced with respect to India and in job industries in India. Okay, so let's take an organization example, the distribution of the talent in an organization. So let's say if this circle or pie chart represents your entire organization, this section, which is more than 50% of it, will be developers or technical staff. Some section would be involved around management, and some section will be around operations and QA. There could be a couple of more sections as well, but I just want to highlight one section here is security. So every organization is trying to invest in security, and even if the security team is there, it even if the security team is small, it will be there. So there will be certain section of people or certain section of people who are working in under security in every organization. This pie chart would not be according to the scale, definitely, but this is just an illustration saying that every organization will invest in security by creating roles around it or jobs around it. But this security itself might look small to you, but there are various subsections around it which explores career options for you as well. So let's see what are the sub pillars of security. Main pillar like, okay, the first one is development. So when I say development, we want someone who has good knowledge of development also, and someone who has good knowledge of security also, so that they can build libraries for entire other set of developers which you can use. So we call them as secure library development, like of that. And that is again, I would say it's a Sone Pe Suhaga kind of role. If you know security, if you know development, that is truly a niche skill to have. And trust me or not, they will pay you anything to acquire you simply. The next one is really popular, which is penetration testing. Penetration testing is the area where you actually work like an attacker or basically hacker, but inside an organization. You know application, you just basically attack that particular application. That's what pen testing is. Pen testing I should not say has, pen testing has other brothers and sisters as well, which is red teaming and blue teaming. They are also similar to that, but in blue teaming, you are basically trying to prevent attacks into application by performing some sort of checks on development side, some sort of tooling with help of some sort of toolings. Red teaming is basically you are behaving like an external attacker itself. You don't know application at all, and then you are trying to attack that application. So pen testing is, I should say, if you want to get into real hacking field, then pen testing could be the field for you. The third one is security architecture. Security architecture is a new design which comes under shift left methodology. So shift left methodology says that we should include security from the development pipeline itself, not include security once the development is over. So if you include security in the development pipeline itself during design phase only, there are security people who provide you guidance according to security in the architecture phase only. That this is how you should design, this is how different services of your application should interact so that the attack parameter or risk parameter can be reduced. Again, I would like to say that the risks come into an application once the implementation is done. So security architecture can help you reduce the risk parameter of that issue. So even if the application is attacked, the risk parameter is so low that the breaches should not happen or stuff like that. The next one is enterprise security. Enterprise security has really gained popularity in a work from home environment. The work from home environment has moved all of us outside offices, and we are taking office peripherals or office devices to our homes. And our home is not a secured perimeter like an office building is. So you might not know that your system, which is your workstation, which you have issued from office, you might install, or someone who have access to your system might have installed a malware into that system, malware into that endpoint, and and that malware is able to extract resources from your organization. That's a serious issue, and that comes under the scope of enterprise security. and that has boomed actually in the work from home environment during this pandemic. The next one is governance, risk, and compliance. The main task is for auditing, and the demand for GRC people in finance organization is really high. I'll talk about these pillars in more detail. I'll talk about the certifications needed for GRC. The next one is cloud security. Cloud is booming, so the cloud security is booming, and the need for cloud security is booming. When I say cloud security, it's basically securing the infrastructure which is hosted on cloud. There was time when cloud was only spinning up VM in some other data centers, but now cloud has completely evolved from just spinning up VMs to cloud native infrastructure. Cloud native infrastructure basically packs your entire application and application related infrastructure in some sort of YAML. It's a detailed topic in itself, but I would like to mention it is that the demand for cloud security professionals in India is really high, but we don't have talent again. And this is a field that I want to go next into, which is cloud security. The one next one is network security. Network security is really simple to understand since every device is connected to a network, and basically the task of network security people is to perform the isolation in a way that even if one of the VMs or one of the endpoints in a network is compromised, the attack surface is not like it's not moved across different devices just to bound the attack. So network security works on that front. They basically deals with firewalls, they basically deal with CDNs and DOS kind of attacks and stuff like that. The another one is SSDLC, which I have experienced in past and have worked in past. SSDLC is more of secure SDLC. SDLC is software development lifecycle. So it's again under shift left paradigm. uh, it uses some set of tools which are static scanning tools, dynamic scanning tools, interactive tools, and automated tools to perform uh, test scanning or vulnerability assessment of an application. So SSDLC is more of a tooling than actually attacking those applications out. The next one that I want to talk is SOC is really brilliant and big fill in itself. It actually monitors your organization 24/7. SOC stand for Security Operations Center. They monitor everything that comes in. So every traffic that comes to your organization is like there is the SOC are the gatekeeper for that. They will see if this traffic is benign or malicious based on their intelligence and filter out those and pass it to just pass it through. But they need to also understand a lot of things, which is like understanding about that particular request. And this is doing like there is again one more subfield in SOC, which is threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is really interesting, malware analytics, stuff like that. So SOC is full of opportunities. I will not be able to explain entire stuff of SOC in one single presentation, but yes, SOC is really brilliant. The last one is security research. Every organization need is different, so the kind of inputs that they want from security people will be different. So that's why organizations are investing in research so that they can have a customized solution to the issues that they are facing. And this is the most niche lane under security. And these are
So
not. Yep.
go ahead, and I'll ask my question after you are done with the topic.
Okay, I got a break and I just took a sip of
It's okay.
water. That's I do
Hmm.
that. So this is not exhaustive list, I would say, but these are the skills that are really demanded in India. Just if you want to see how the demand is, just go to LinkedIn and search for a specific one. Let's say pen testing or security development, security architecture. You will see that there are companies looking for people excelled in that area. Some of them might have entry level jobs, and they might not even require development skills at all. So if you see enterprise security, network security, SOC, SSDLC, these could have entry level jobs in them. You can, without any security experience, you can try to move into it, learn, and then start working with it. And these
Uh,
are the set of career options that we have. Yep, Siraj.
so my question was, don't you see a pattern here that most of these jobs are like not towards the cool hacking or the red teaming part of things. These are generally more towards the blue team. Like if we see the exhaustive list that you have made, pen testing and let's say mm, and research are more of a core red team kind of thing. Then other than that, most of these you are talking about from a blue team's perspective, not from a red team's perspective, or a
Uh,
a purple team, where they are doing the job of both, like I am doing right now. Uh,
mhm.
the demand for blue team is more, in my opinion, than it is for red team, because generally they want to protect themselves instead of attacking. So only service, like the firms that are doing pen test as a service or security as a service, they are generally hiring these kind of red team roles, and not
Mhm.
the uh, not the general security roles that we are talking about here.
That is true. That is completely true, I would say. But calling it as a blue team, let me call it as a defense in depth strategy. So,
Yeah.
organizations today are investing in defense in depth. So, they want to
Hmm.
secure every single endpoint.
Hmm.
The need of pen testing is there, but in future, I uh, what I see is we should be like on par with the tech stack that developers are using, because pen testing is basically attacking an application, thinking that application is, let's say, web. So basically attacking a web application, but behind that web only you could have lot of infrastructure in place, and you might, if you just talk about pen testing, you might not be aware of that infrastructure. So let's say
Yeah.
a very simple example of it. Let's say your application is hosted in AWS environment. Your application is vulnerable to SSRF. If you are
Yeah.
just a pen tester, you would know that there is SSRF, you can steal something out of it. But you have
Hmm.
everything in a way that you cannot get something out of it. But if you have good understanding of AWS, you would know that every VM in AWS is connected to some sort of controller VM where it fetches the credentials from, let's say, admin credentials. Now, what you can do is, if you know that, if you have that insight of infra, then you can actually exfiltrate admin credentials through SSRF. So even those kind of stuff is possible. So that's what I feel about it.
Yeah, like I totally agree. But my point was that companies are willing to pay more towards defending themselves, not getting themselves attacked. So while there are some companies that pay huge amount of money for just someone who's into red teaming, and while red teaming
Mhm.
is super important, but like companies in India, in my experience, I think they're ready to pay for more towards blue team role than towards a red teaming kind of role, where you have a lot to attack and no defense. Like you are working for a service as a pen test firm, and they want you to do red team actually, and not
That is true.
really protect themselves.
That
So
is true. That is true.
I so I
So
think
even in
uh,
even in yep, yep, go ahead.
go ahead, go on.
So the organization that I've worked in past and my current organization as well, we do pen testing of our applications. That is true, but
Hmm.
we also outsource our pen testing to external vendors so that we can spend more time into couple of other resources as well. So that is true. In most of the organization, that is true. The core pen
Hmm.
testing is actually moving as a service approach than as an engineer approach, I would say.
Yeah. We have a couple of good questions here, so I'll
Mhm.
ask them as well. Let's get them out of the way, so we don't have a lot to ask at the end. So Sneha Anand is asking, for a beginner in cybersecurity industry, which domain do you suggest to start with? Pen testing, SSDLC, DevOps, uh, all the, so these are the three options that you mentioned. What do you think?
Oh, okay, this is
What is your
interesting.
favorite
So,
out of all of this? What is your favorite
so,
one?
so my favorite one is penetration testing, definitely. And this is like this is not how I get into security. I started as a developer. So, if you talk about how what's the easy way, development, getting to know development is easy, and then moving to pen testing and then exploring other fields. But yeah, so For a beginner, I would suggest SSDLC could help, because SSDLC is more about identifying issues through tools. So once you get to know tools, once you get to know tools, and then once you get to know the kind of issues that tools reports, then taking a step from SSDLC to pen testing or security architecture or some other lane, that could help. So yeah, SSDLC could be an entry point for it.
Hmm. Um, Average salary in cybersecurity field in India. I think
So
you can find the answer. So Sayon Datta is asking, what is an average salary in cybersecurity field in India?
okay, so it reminds me of a joke that you should not ask man for his salary and woman her age. So
Yeah,
that
I
is true,
think
but
this question should be like just go on these websites who list all the salary comparison and average salary in all the other countries, and you'll find the answer there.
but
Glassdoor
I
is
would
one
like
of
to
the
add
best. Yeah,
I would like to
yeah.
add one more
Hmm,
point here. See, the
hmm.
salary expectations should not be according to an organization, should be according to you. So you can demand, let's say 1 crore salary package, but you should be able to prove that organization that you are capable of 1 crore
Of
work.
that.
So
Yeah.
it's on you. It's not on an organization.
So
That's what I can answer.
another question is, after BCA in cybersecurity, I am not able to find the next path for post graduation in cybersecurity. Any help? Anybody help? So
Uh,
uh, do you have any answer to that?
so I
I
think
actually
with BCA, or yeah, go ahead.
I actually did BCA. So
So with
I think, but it was not in cybersecurity. It was just general BCA. And
mhm.
after doing BCA, I just found a job and got to it. I think the next path should not be like, I don't know if it should be or should not be, but if you have a lot of money, then you can probably do MSc in cybersecurity from science. It is about 40 lakhs or something. But other than that, but other than that, I think you should just get a job first. And yeah, it's an so how I did was I just gained a lot of skills and got a job for myself. And I'll probably see in the future if I want to do a post graduation. But I think after BCA, going for a good MTech or MSc in cybersecurity is kind of hard because, as I said, SANS is one of the most reputed universities, and their MSc cost about 40 lakh rupees. So if you have that kind of money, then I guess go ahead. But if you don't, then probably increase your skills through other things that Rohit showed in the slides as well,
Yeah.
and uh, probably get a job and experience. Then move ahead. Now, Rohit, you can continue. I guess we asked all the questions.
Cool. Um, okay, so the next one that I think can help him also is like certification trajectory. Certifications can help. They will not help you get a job, but they will help you clearing the filter that HR have, as I mentioned already. So certification can help, and this trajectory of certification I want to present from perspective of Indian recruiting mindset again. So let's start with two basic certifications, CEH and CompTIA Plus. CEH is very, very basic. So if you know anything about security, I will not at all recommend you to go with CH because it will be waste of money for you. CH is more of a theoretical certification. Like it used to be known long time back in India. Like let's say if I talk about 4 years, 4 years past the line, CH was popular in recruiters, but now they have moved into OSCP. But if you don't know anything about security, I would recommend to pick CEH first. And CompTIA is not related to security. CompTIA A plus is not related to security. It's um, more of like understanding the entire I should say the components of computer system itself, like talking about networks, talking about endpoints, talking about APIs and stuff like that. So CompTIA A plus is around
Yeah.
that.
CompTIA
Yeah.
network A plus is actually about more towards the hardware side of things,
Yeah.
not really the software side of things. I think in this, like, this is just my opinion, but Network Plus, Linux Plus, and these are the Security Plus are the three,
Mhm.
four certifications that are more geared towards teaching you security or moving you
Yeah.
towards that edge of security that you can start. CES is also something just like that, almost.
But I usually don't recommend it to someone
Yeah,
who already know terms about security because
yeah,
they'll be irrelevant. And CH costs a lot. I if I'm not
yeah,
wrong, it costs $500 to $600, which
exactly.
is not like worthy
Not
for
worth it.
CH.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
my
worth it.
personal opinion. This video is on YouTube. I don't want CH to sue me. So that's my opinion again.
Yeah,
So
that's also my opinion, I guess.
uh,
Uh,
yep, yep.
Is there any company or organization that provides an internship in cybersecurity? Abdullah Salim has asked that question.
Mm,
There probably are many, but go ahead if you have an answer for that.
there are companies who provide internship in security, and the best part is they get filled up even before they get rolled out on platforms like LinkedIn. So as I mentioned in previous slide, they have connections, and connections usually get them filled as soon as possible. The opening is created
Hmm.
for interns. So yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I think that answers the question, and we can move on with the session. I'll ask more questions as we get them. Okay.
Okay. I forgot to
Okay.
add one certification in this slide, which was from a certified practitioner ethical hacker from the Cyber Mentor Academy. I seriously don't know how popular this certification is in India because it's a recent certification that Cyber Mentor
Yeah.
has Heath Adams has
Yeah.
created, but
Yeah.
there is no proven knowledge base around it, so I cannot comment on it right now at this point of time.
Someone has
But
asked that please tell us about EJPT. So, Elon
yeah, okay,
Security Junior Penetration Testing Certification.
that is good. That
Yeah,
is good.
yeah.
But again, the point is, recruiters might not know about it. Your manager, your team might know that EJPT or practitioner certification are
It's
good.
more of a practitioner certificate, right? It's
Yeah.
not a HR bypass.
Yes, HR bypass.
It's not going. Yeah, it's not HR bypass. HR bypass are like two, three certifications. CEH is an HR bypass. Then OSCP is an HR bypass. But I
Yes,
don't
yes, yes.
think this one is.
So if your company is sponsoring you for junior pen tester certificate, practitioner certification, then go for it.
Hmm.
Cool. So then I would encourage CompTIA Sec Plus, which is basic practical security assessment. So if you are not interested in CEH, then I would not encourage, but you can pick CompTIA. But again, if you are in security, then skip the certification. The next one is OSCP and GPEN. OSCP is really popular among HR and recruiters. GPEN is getting popularity, but GPEN cost a lot. I'll talk about the prices in upcoming slides, but these are the two variations. OSCP is a beginner certification. Trust me, it's not easy. If you practice well, you can clear OSCP. And GPEN is also practically like the training is you have lab sessions in you have lab sessions in training, but the exam is objective. So that is not good from a good because they cost a lot. It costs around $7,000 for GPEN. It's from SANS, so every certification of SANS is
Yeah,
costly.
yeah. It's seven
So
thousand dollars or something. So 7 lakh rupees in
yes,
India. It's even
yes,
more expensive than OSCP.
it's true, true. So
Yeah.
OSCP
So
costs you. The time I did
1 lakh.
OSCP was yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the time I did it was close to 80,000 for 3 months lab, and now I think the
Okay.
cost has
Now,
increased.
now the cost is I did it in last year September, and it was
Yeah.
almost 1 lakh rupees for 2 months of subscription. And
Mm,
I got it on like I think in $999 they give you 2 months of labs now,
okay.
and with
Yeah,
one
the
attempt of
prices have
one
increased.
exam
Yeah.
attempt.
Yeah. But the point is, the OSCP is a beginner certification, it's not an experienced
Yeah.
pen tester certificate. So yeah, it'll give you a holistic view of what are different attacks possible at what levels, how to pivot across networks, how to exploit vulnerabilities in web applications, how to actually start
Mhm.
exploring those vulnerabilities out. So OSCP is around that. I've not taken GPEN, no idea about GPEN, but one of my friend in organization took it, and she said it's the train there is lab sessions in training, but the exam is theoretical, and the exam is not even worthy $7,000. So
I
that's
would also, yeah, it's not seven. Like, I don't know, I won't say much about it, but I have also heard that it is not that. Like, it's a beginner course, so like they teach you the most basics that they can, but they teach you it like good. If you don't know
yeah,
anything about, you just started with starting up the computer yesterday, then if you take that course, they teach you like in that depth. But it is not really something that is OSCP kind like OSCP or anything. And CEH and CompTIA A plus and all the CompTIA certifications are also very theoretical in my opinion. Like I did
yeah.
most of the like whatever there was from CompTIA in 2017. I did took training for it. So basically, when I was in 2017, Cybrary was providing free training for all these certifications. I did took
Mhm.
whatever I could find. So I think they are all very like they're not practical at all. CH has some practicality, like very little or to none. They will teach you how to use Nmap and Netcat and stuff like that. But that's not actual practical penetration testing. It's still very theoretical.
Yeah. So yeah, these certifications like CompTIA and CS for those who have like who don't like
Know
know less
anything
of
at all.
security. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can move on, I guess.
Yeah. And after that, like if you want to go into like senior pen testing role, OSCE is next like go to for that. After OSCE I would definitely encourage it. This expert level penetration testing certification. You can also like go from GPEN to OSCP, but it's not required. After spending $7,000 on a certification, then you're going to spend one more $1,000 close to that on OSCP. It doesn't work. So
Yeah.
but if your organization is sponsoring GPEN, I because usually organization get SANS vouchers, so they can sponsor it. But other than
Hmm.
that, personally, OSCP is
But
self-sufficient.
like going from the point of a student, then it is kind of like off limits when
Yes,
you're paying
yes,
for
yes,
5 lakh rupees for something that you can probably learn for free on the internet.
yes. Unless they give you for free, otherwise don't do it.
Unless they give you for free. Exactly.
Okay, so the next one I want to
Oh,
talk about is CIS. Yep, yep.
yeah,
Go
yes,
ahead.
sir. I also have another question. OSEP is one of the courses that just came out that they recommend that you do after OSCP, and I did looked up at the syllabus um, and saw some
I
reviews, and
think
I think it
OSCP.
is yeah. Go ahead.
Initially, they used to had OSCE is like this certified expert, but then they created this
Now it
web
is also
expert
like very
advanced.
expensive. Like
Yeah,
this is also just almost as expensive as DeepN now. So you have to take
mhm.
OSCP, you have to take OSEP, and then you have to take the OS uh, web exploitation expert. Basically, there are three
Yeah,
certifications. After you pass all three of them, you get the OSCE.
yeah, true.
So it is exactly the same amount of money that you would spend in DeepN, I
Yeah, so let's kick them out.
guess. Before this was an individual certification. You could just after OSCP, if you are ready,
Yeah,
you can just take the
yeah,
OSC. I
yeah.
guess
Okay,
that
so
is for all the questions we have, and you can go ahead and
let me just
with
like
your
it will
slide.
take hardly 2-3 minutes, then we are
Hmm.
over with the slides. So yeah, next
Okay.
certification that is really important is
Hmm.
CISSP.
Hmm.
CISSP needs some sort of experience. It's like close to 5 years of experience you need to have to take that certification. But once you take that certification, mostly all management or technical level like filtering can be done. You can actually bypass all those filters out because CSP is well known certificate in India, but you need 5 years of experience. And OSCP plus CSSP is called again a Sone Pe Suhaga kind of combination. Here OSCP, if a CSSP company would like pay anything for you and they'll get you in, but you should again be capable of it. No, getting certification is just one part. Like dealing with situation practical is one part. So yeah, certificate can help you validate credentials, but they will not procure your job. Once more, I would like to say. Okay, after CSP, I would say that you need to figure out, you need to actually bifurcate all your career paths. Either you can move into cloud, either you can move into infrastructure, either you can move into management. And these are again with respect to security. So cloud security, infra security, or security manager. So these are the three areas after CSV that I recommend. And let's talk about the cloud one. If you want to go into cloud, you can take CCSP. It's popular in India. It's popular amongst HR, but it can be optional. So you can skip CCSP because it's very generic from cloud's perspective. It provides you knowledge with respect to all the cloud infrastructure, but there are cloud specific security engineer certification, which is from Azure, from Google Cloud Platform and AWS platform. So you can skip CCSP, and after CSSP, getting those uh, cloud specific certification would help. For AWS, I believe you need some sort of prerequisites. So explore that. The next one is infra. For infra, CK is really excellent certification. It's completely practical certification, which stands for Certified Kubernetes Administrator. After that, you can take it more niche into Certified Kubernetes Security Specialist in infra side. And from for leadership, the GAC security leadership is really known. So again, these certification is not the exhaustive list of certification that we have, but they are popular among recruiters, and they can help you bypass recruiting and get yourself called for interview. Um, there is also one more certification that one of my friend told me recently, which is CISA. CISA you can take at any level. So I was not aware to put where at what location to put it, but that's why I put it in the beginning only. That if you have good understanding of basics of security, and you can definitely go ahead with CISA. CISA jobs are really well-known paid jobs in India. CISA stand for Security Information Security Auditor. Basically, the demand for those people in finance industries or payments industries or privacy industries are really good. So CISA, I think, costs you around $600, but once you are CISA certified, you can like go into auditing role if you're interested in auditing. HR really respects CISA role because free admission, and CISA is you can see what certifications I've marked them in terms of level of difficulties to my experience and from the word of mouth. And in terms of dollars, you can see that mostly SAN certification costs you a lot. So yeah, that's in terms of dollars. Now let's talk about if you have any questions and if I can try to answer that question. So that's it from my side. Hello, Shira, you there? Guys, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello. Hi. I'm back. My internet got disconnected. I was disconnected. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. So here's
So,
my side. The presentation is over. Let's move on to the questions if we have any.
okay. So, we have some questions. How to get off-site opportunities in security? Uh, that's kind of a good question.
Uh, there are companies which can get you offshores from India, and the good list is Netflix, Facebook, Amazon. Few of my colleagues have landed like into offshores from India through these companies. There used to be booking.com used to invite security engineers to Netherlands also, but due to this pandemic they were really affected. But yes, that is possible. Just explore their opportunities. Even they are out, even if they are outside India, they will get you to interview process, at least if you have a good profile. Definitely having bug bounty profile on their platforms would be in like out of the crowd kind of thing. So yeah, that is possible.
Okay, so there is a lot of demand for people wanting to see the last slide that I missed. Please, please show the slides for difficulty level both and the cost.
Okay, so this is for the difficulty level, and just go through it. Shiraz, I will be sharing this slide with you. You can
Hmm.
share it with the people.
Yeah, we will be uploading the slides on not the Null portal, so you can just go and download the slides and read it from there.
Yep, 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 yep.
Hmm. Then there are certifications like CSA or ECIH, etc. Worth it if you are someone who has 1 year of experience in the field.
So if you have 1 year of experience, then I would suggest go for OSCP, because that people are demanding in India right now. If you are looking for opportunities in India, as
Yeah,
I mentioned, there are like this list is not exhaustive, but don't go for new certifications. Just target you have to do some sort of homework also before taking
getting
certificate or deciding
going
to
to
take
go
an.
this certificate. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
OSCP in itself like is kind of hard to pass for a lot of people. So there is a lot of prep that goes into it.
yeah.
What is the future of cloud security in cloud and blockchain and why? That's another question
Okay,
that we have.
so cloud is the next thing. Trust me, cloud is the next new thing. People are now trying to integrate the infrastructure also in cloud, which is called as cloud native. If you are experienced in cloud native, the stage is all yours for the futures. Blockchain again is like there is a lot of uncertainty in blockchains because a lot of people are appreciating it, a lot of people are criticizing it. The criticism is more from finance thing because from blockchains you have created cryptocurrencies. The cryptocurrencies are facing criticism from governments as well. But blockchain itself is a good technology which can which has a lot of advantages. And when I was in Walmart was working like bringing that blockchain infrastructure for supply chain management. So people are like blockchain does not have only one application, which is cryptocurrencies. Blockchain has a lot of applications because they are secure by design. So that is the case.
Um, there are a few more questions. So one of the questions is any good resources to learn threat intelligence or resources. Uh, Wait a minute. Yeah, it is about. Are there any good resources for guidance towards threat intelligence if they want to go into that?
Okay, so threat intel is like under SOC, and SOC is a field that I want to like get myself into, which I'm not right now.
Hmm.
So I might not be the right person to answer that question because I'm not into threat intelligence at all. But mostly we have I have seen couple of few of my friends were doing threat intelligence research at IIT Kanpur. They were actually writing their own IDS and IPS rules to capture intelligence
It's
out
not
of.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not the right person for that.
Me neither. I cannot answer that for the life of me. The threat intelligence and SOC in itself have a lot of documentation. Yeah, I would do practical work over documentation anyway. Any good resources you would like to suggest for learning Android and iOS pen testing?
Okay, so again, I would say mobile application I'm not at all into. I'm mostly into web applications, so I might not
Hmm.
know the good resources. Once I explore it, I will be like sharing them definitely.
For iOS pen testing, I would say that Azeria is like if you are going to lower level, that's what I have learned. So that's what I'm talking about. But And the other thing that we worked on when I was doing an internship in Cyphers. So in Cyphers have a really good course in iOS pen testing in Android as well. Android have a couple of like a lot of labs online. If you just go and look for these labs and their walkthroughs, it will cover all and most of the vulnerabilities that comes into Android labs, Android vulnerabilities, and IS pen testing. You can probably take that course from Incyphers. It's totally worth it. If you want to go into lower level stuff in IS, then Azeria Labs is one of the free resources that you can check out and learn about ARM reversing and stuff like that. That comes in handy with IS pen testing a lot, but that's not like that's a bit advanced when it comes to core IS application pen testing. But yeah, I'm also not a core mobile application pen tester, but I have just took some internships and worked with it for a while. So that's what I'm aware about. Hmm. Uh, and we have a few more questions, and then we'll close up after taking a few more questions. So I have a quick query. What are the resources for threat modeling and intelligence? Another question about SOC analysis, I guess,
So threat
or
modeling
management.
is
Threat
yeah,
modeling
that
is management, basically.
yes,
Risk
not
management and stuff.
management. It's more of falls under the scope of security architecture. So,
Hmm.
and threat intel is under SOC. So we have a lot of threat modeling tools available, and there are models and frameworks as well. Stride is really popular for
Hmm.
threat modeling. So
Hmm.
Stride is one of those models, and there is a tool from Microsoft in which you can actually draw your infrastructure.
APT. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then it will give you.
APT is the one that you're talking about, I think.
Okay, okay,
Microsoft's APT does IR for you and basically almost automatically makes a threat model for your Windows domains and basically your network infrastructure. Uh, any good resources to get hands on web security? Pentester labs are good enough. I would say that Pentester Lab is a great resource, but Portugal Web Security Academy is what I'm a personal fan of. I have used it and
yeah,
it's amazing and it's free. Pentester Lab is still paid. What do you think, Rohit?
yeah. Same. Pen Tester Lab is definitely good. For beginners, try Hackney's beginner's path is also good. That's what I feel. But if you have no experience, start with Portugal, then move into Try Hackney, and then after gaining some experience, then move into Hack the Box. That's what
Hmm.
is like a good path would be.
Yeah, yeah, I also agree with that. Can you write those in chat with the resources you mentioned? For I'll probably post it on Twitter, I guess. I'll just message me on Twitter, I guess. Then I'll tell you. Additionally, in Master in Cybersecurity from abroad, worth it, and I'm planning for the same.
Yes. Because
Yeah,
in India, security curriculum is not that exhaustive, I would say, but in US there are great like campuses which are
university,
taking
yeah,
this. Yeah, sure. Like
that are
few of
doing
my
this.
friends
One
have.
of the best. What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Please
good.
leave that. I was just recently looking into this, and I found that there are many that does that, but even abroad, it's still rare to find places who teach cybersecurity and have master degree in cybersecurity and information security in general. That is very practical and like that works. One of the best is SANS for sure, and there are some other universities, but either they are hard to get into or they're just not as popular. You'll have to dig in.
Yep.
Uh,
But
would one
one more
yes,
like amendment I would like to add here. Is it even worth like because you will be spending a lot on like getting into
the SANS
good
certification, yeah,
campuses. Yes.
yeah.
Science is one, but let's say if I talk about institutions, you would be spending a lot in getting to those institutions, and then is it even worth? So you have to calculate. If you have scholarship, that's good, but without scholarship,
Hmm.
I would say perform some sort of calculus first, then take that step.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Before just jumping in right away. That's
Yes.
true. I would also recommend doing
Because see,
calculation
the
first.
uncertainty of getting into security will be there in off shores outside India as well. That will be there anyway.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have skills, that will be there forever. Like until you get like real skills, no matter what degree you have, you'll still have to prove it that you have the skills. So
Yeah.
then it becomes a problem. Let's take the last two questions and we'll just close after this. Uh, would once personal attack tools are hosted on a repo act as an HR bypass?
Hmm.
Yeah, why not? I guess. Um,
I didn't understand the question. Can you
he
please?
said that basically if he has written custom tools and he hosts it on GitHub and show it off to the HR, would it
Yeah,
work
yeah.
as an HR bypass? It kind of does. Depends
It's
on the HR.
So let me just add one more point here. So
Yes.
the organization that I work into right now is Gojek. So Gojek takes your public profile, including GitHub
Hmm?
repositories, into consideration.
Hmm?
Let's say if you don't have any certification, but you have good GitHub profile. If you're like
Hmm?
are if you want to get into security and you have good GitHub profile with a lot of great tools, which are really popular, as in the number of stars, if I talk about in terms of popularity, then yes, true. It depends on organization, but yes, that is true. That's a great
Yeah.
thing, actually.
Yeah, exactly. But it also depends on an HR. If you're talking about HR bypass, the firms who do HR bypass basically either they know what the other certifications are and they are aware about what they're hiring, or they are not and they just know that this
Mhm.
certification is something that we want. And it depends on the firm that you're interviewing with. It can act as a HR bypass. Most good cybersecurity firms will take that into consideration, in my opinion.
So,
But
so
not all will. Hmm.
if you are talking in terms of HR workers, I would say just talk to me directly. I have couple of skills to tell you that how you can bypass HR filtering.
Yeah, sure. If you want to talk about it, go ahead.
Not right now. It's a public forum. It should not be discussed in public forum.
What are this is the last question that we are going to take, and then after that we will close. And the slides will be available on the Null portal. Go check out slides. Rohit might post them on on Twitter as well. Why not? So last question is, what are the resources for CTF? How can one improve the CTF skills? Thank you.
Okay. ओके सो
Huh.
सबसे पहले तो थैंक यू का रिस्पॉन्स वेलकम बट अगर आप इफ यू हैव टू improve your CTF skills, read about write-ups. CTF, read about write-ups. First approach is for a specific CTF, so try to solve that CTF challenge. If you're not able to solve it, read the write-up afterwards. And if the CTF challenge is still open, try to tackle the same with a different approach, not what you have studied in CTF. That's the skill that can help you in getting good at CTFs.
Exactly. I am actually big on CTS. I used to love CTS. That's why I went into Hack the Box. I had offers that they were offering me more money, but I was like, no, Hack the Box is something that I want to work with, and I don't regret it a bit because I get to work with a lot of cool people. So, in my opinion, if you want to get good at CTS, I when I started, I struggled a lot at first, but mark anything that comes on CTS time, go and play it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
care if you don't solve anything. Just
Yeah.
search whatever you have. Just download the challenge and see whatever you have. Even if you don't have any security experience, you're gonna learn a lot at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's my strategy. And other than that, solve a lot of CTS yourself. If you can put a little bit of money, go buy Hack the Boxes Pro like their VIP and start solving the retired boxes using IPSEC videos. Watch an IPSEC video, like if you want to try it on your own, this is kind of how I did it. But you might just start watching the video and start solving the box along with the video. But I used to do it that I tried to do it without the video,
Yeah.
and then I would go ahead and see when I get stuck. I just go and watch the video because the first box I ever found on Hack the Box, it took me a month. And after a while, when I was doing all of these things and playing a lot of CTS, these CTS basically, after a while, I got so good at it that I was spawning two boxes a day that were active and I didn't know the write up about. So, so it's all about practice. The more you practice, the more you learn, and those learning comes in handy even in real life and real life contests. Also, you'll automatically get good at CTF if you just start playing whatever. Just pick a category and tell yourself that this month you're going to play every so and so, every cryptography challenge ever on any on this on CTF CTF time. Just go there, whatever CTF going on, download the crypto challenges, start playing them, and play them until you get somewhere.
True.
And it's super fun as well. Like if you are really into understanding why things work the way they do, CTFs are the best tools in my opinion. The best.
True. True.
Um, Thank you, Rohit. This was an amazing and very insightful session. And
Thank you.
the slides in itself are so artistic, and I love them. The way you did it was super awesome. And
So,
I
so
think the audience.
Shiraz, this was an
Mhm.
experiment because this is the first time I'm using the zines concept in presentation because previously I used to create presentations and keynotes and they were used to be like boring and since I moved into zines completely, so I thought like let's take it as opportunity to see how this works because the time has gone for boring presentations. Now let's make them interesting
Yeah,
and cool.
let's make them colorful. Why do the whole black and white? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
our audience is saying, great session. Thanks a lot. Loved it. Best
Thank you.
time invested today. And
Thank you. Thank you.
it was great, actually. I loved it. Guys, go check out Rohit. His Twitter is sec_r0 and follow him. He might like after he uploads the slides to Null Portal. I will either post it on Twitter and he will post it as well. So go check that out as well. He has a site called securitydesigns.com that has more of these resources that I was looking at earlier. These are these just simplify complex topics um, in a simpler word like this. Like he draws these things. So go check that out as well.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot,
So
Rohit.
I would
Uh,
also like to thank Shivam for like reaching out and giving
yeah,
this
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Shivam is one of our new volunteers. He's volunteering for Null and he reached out, and I would like to also thank him for a great contribution in getting Rohit in our touch and making this session happen. Thank you, Shivam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. See you guys. Bye bye.